Hi everybody, I am joined by Ricard and Anders from Room 17 Games, and today we're going to be having a little bit of a chat about the design philosophy of Room 17 Games and a little bit about the history of these two guys, because I always like getting in behind the scenes and actually seeing where people are coming from within the industry, because it's one thing I've noticed. This industry is one of the most social on the planet. You know, everybody knows everybody has worked for somebody else in the past. So, Ricard, I'm going to start with yourself. What was your start in the gaming industry?
I started in 1996 with GW in one of the first stores in Spain, in a shopping centre, and that was the dream job, I think, for any kid.
Oh yeah.
You know, I obviously played Warhammer and 40k early days, and when I landed that job, my first job ever, I was probably 17 or 18 then. It was great, you know, 50% discount on my toys, and I get to be one of the guys that wears the red t-shirt. It was great, fabulous.
Yeah.
And then I moved a bit up there. Then went to university to do this and the other, and then I came back.
So you took the break.
I did, the necessary break. And then I rejoined Workshop in 2005 when I was already in the UK, uni-wise. You know, it took me. The university took me here, and I landed a job there as a blister packer. And that was for university money, really.
Oh, yeah, that's beer money right there.
That's it. So I was very, very aware of, well, I'm going to go to Nottingham.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
And the first thing I did on that on the day I landed, was to check in on my B&B and give an intro letter and CV to the reception in GW.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm available. I want to. I'm looking for a job. That's it. I want to get. I want to get a job. And months later, I got a call for a Christmas placement.
Yeah.
We got this thing, and I was very, very determined on. I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna scale up.
Oh yeah.
And that it worked that way. So I started packing and picking on mail order. Yeah. For 3 months for the Christmas period. An internal vacancy came as a PA for the exec team for the Northern European business, and I became the first male PA in GW, which was great because he got me to meet pretty much everybody on the scale. And from there, Northern Europe became split with emerging markets. I was put in charge of opening the market in South America. Yeah. And that's when the business part of it hit me really. Yeah. And I became a business person in the industry through that. So that was my real university, I think.
Well, I mean, like it's something that I always find lovely is the way people get into this industry. It's always from something very strange, very small, and then just being able to actually grow into the industry. Anders, what about yourself? What was your start in the industry?
My start in the industry came later. I've been a hardcore gamer since early 80s basically. Started with Dungeons and Dragons and all that, and then Warhammer and Rogue Trader when that came out and so on. But that was just on the gaming level. Industry-wise, I came into it when we had me and a few friends. Actually, pretty much the guys I played games with all my life from my first game club from the 80s. Started an indoors arena for airsoft gaming, because in Sweden, airsoft, playing that outside in the winter is very cold, so the weapons don't work. So we basically built an indoor city in a hall in my hometown. And at the same time, we discovered Flames of War, and we thought, oh, that's really cool. So let's have some Flames of War on the shelves as well as the airsoft guns. So we bought in that stuff, and so we were running that for a few years, and then the opportunity came up. Battlefront had an ad out that they needed people with those language skills that I had, and so 2009 I went over to Nottingham and Battlefront and started working there, and worked there for the last 8 years then up until last year basically.
All right, I have an important question. So you had Flames of War on the shelves, and you had some gaming tables, and you had an airsoft city. Did you ever go from 15mm to 1-to-1 scale for a bit of a battle?
Well, it was often tempting to start to see, can I hit a 50mm tank with this rifle from this range? It might have happened on a few times, you know, but
I was wondering if you actually took it and just went, okay, we need to skirmish this out. Let's get a couple of teams together and go at each other.
Yeah. No, that would have been amazing. I can't say we really did that. And usually the hall was busy, so you couldn't go in there without protective masks and stuff and so on. And we were quite particular about the Flames of War stuff. We wanted that to survive.
I just have images now of you standing at a 6x4 table with airsoft beads flying around you as you try and play. Oh no, I rolled a 1. Wait, the bead hit it. It's a 6. Yes.
Yeah, no, it was extreme close quarters battle in there, and of course, so it was had some similarities. Okay,
definitely. So for you guys, time has then moved on. You've now created Room 17 Games, and you're starting to bring your games out to the market. Now, I'm wondering, from the experiences you guys have had through your actual gaming careers, what exactly has that brought to you guys for your design philosophy for the games you're making now?
Well, for me, I had a bit of a break from GW in 2010, and I landed in Colgate. And in Colgate, I think it was a very interesting time in my business career, because it was completely different from a niche. It was absolutely high-end, mass market product and things. But that's where I got across the marketing and the importance of certain details in product, you know, branding and quality, you know, like durable quality, quality that would be beyond that that image, that brand, or that pretty box. And I think it's until you asked me that question, I didn't really think about it, but I think we're very good as a company. We always wanted to make a pretty product. Because if you don't do a pretty product,
it's got to be shiny.
You know, if people don't like the first impression of something that you create, is pass on and what's next. I think we achieved that. We have a fantastic design team with Anka, Mary, Andres. Those guys are just perfect at making things looking great, you know, design wise. So for me, although we're always trying to improve, that's a big, massive tick. But the most important thing is, once you've got that box and that box lands in the hands of a group of players, is that a good game?
Yeah. So you're wanting that viral effect. Will it spread?
It's also the feeling. It doesn't, you know, sometimes, you know, I don't have contact with a lot of gamers, so I would not. Nothing that I generate would go viral. It's about, I want to play it again. I want to play it again. And the next time I gather with somebody and there's one person that is new to the group or is new to the game, let's have a pint and a game. That is something that comes naturally. You can't force that. If you like a game, you like it, you want to play it again. And I feel that we have managed to do that now 3 times.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, you guys brought 2 games across with you for your visit this time. So you brought Maramarsh and you brought Flicky Spaceships. Both games, as soon as we finished playing them, I was just like, I want to go again. I want to go again right now. Let's go.
Well, we had just an email this morning from the Imagination Gaming Group, which is an organization that does use gaming in schools to teach literacy and social skills, critical thinking, and also do workshops with social care house and things. And we've just been told that both our first games, or the 2 only games that are in the market at the moment, Museum Rush and Flicky Spaceships, they both have won awards.
Lovely.
So we have Museum Rush with the gold Best Family award, Flicky Spaceships with the silver Best Family award.
Very nice.
And Museum Rush with the best I keep forgetting that one.
That was problem solving.
The problem solving award. So 2 golds for Museum Rush, 1 silver for Flicky. They've only been in the market for 3 months. We are only here for a year. That's
impressive.
That says that people like to play our games. And so means that we are close to do that tick. You know, only time will tell if our 4th and the 5th and the 6th games continue being that way.
Well, it's something I've actually noticed. It's something I've actually experienced myself within the gaming industry. So you won't believe this, and I've mentioned this a few times on video, but I'll mention it to you guys as well. So I've been in the gaming industry for about 9 years now, right? 9 years ago, I was the stereotypical, quiet, socially awkward geek. I couldn't say boo to a goose. I could barely talk to people. But from games, it actually has taught me many, many things. So, number one, it sharpened up my arithmetic skills, so my mathematics. These days, math comes incredibly easy to me. My creative problem solving has been improved no end because I'm looking at the tactical situations on the table. But whenever you actually look at something, say you have a task to do in life, that actually translates across because the planning steps are very similar. You then have the social aspect to it, which means actually being able to talk to people, actually express thoughts and ideas, because what we're doing every time we play a game is tell a story. So actually having something that can teach those three things very well, I think those are three of the key points that any good game really needs to have, as well as that replayability. So that's my thought.
Well, I think when you're facing a problem, mathematical problem or a logical problem, the pressure is on resolving that problem. When you have that in a game, the problem that you need to resolve that problem too, but the pressure of the problem itself disappears. So it opens your mind to focus on the way to resolve it and not on the problem itself. And that comes from that ludic, distended environment that is gaming.
It becomes a pleasurable pressure, kind of. It's something that is fun to sit and solve, and hopefully do that before the other players solve it, if you're playing a competitive game, or if you're playing a co-op game, that you solve it together, you know. So that's a great feature of board games in general, and games that you get to do that basically and have fun doing it.
Exactly. And whenever you add in things like the dexterity thing, it means that breaks with the old alpha gamer problem, because you will have some people. Now, I do this subconsciously, but I will look to optimize my plays. But whenever it's something like Flicky Spaceships with the dexterity thing, there's an element of randomness in there, which can just become really funny with you and your friends. Because it's just like, okay, I need to get this resource. Okay, that was a weak flick. Damn it.
So it generates a new problem. Because you had that plan, it didn't work. Now I have to work with that thing, you know.
But equally, when you do a perfect flick, you go you get really sharp, and everybody goes, "Oh yeah, that was an amazing flip." Because we all know that's quite difficult to pull off, but it does happen, you know. So and we did it yesterday, didn't we?
We had a
there was
couple moments.
A few moments among the week.
With that live broadcast. I'm not sure if it'll be out by this stage, but if our Flicky Spaceships Let's Play is up and online, go and check it out, because we had a lot of fun with it. Now, on top of the design, you actually have the production aspects to it. Now, you guys are using the Kickstarter model. How many of your games have you used that for?
All of them.
All of them?
All of them. Now, the difference is that we didn't plan on going Kickstarter because of the experience we thought we had. We were going to put this together. We're going to make our Museum Rush, which we always thought it was a great game. We truly believe in that game. Rhys came, the author of the game, came in, and we absolutely bought into it. He went through an enormous process of editing and incorporating rules and ideas. Graham did a fantastic job in that. But we always believed that was a super cool game, and it was very retailable. We always thought, this is a game that if we get it right, and design-wise we get it right, it's going to be very, very retailable. So we're going to go to our friends of the industry, you know, the big firms that we've been talking and working with for years. We're going to present these, and we're going to be flying. So we don't need a Kickstarter. Because we never did a Kickstarter, and it's a threatening place. You know, you feel like it is. Loads of legends on how much you work and you get crazy, and you know you're gonna break up with your family, you know, and you know this kind of things. So we went to Essen, and it wasn't that good. We especially, particularly me, thanks to Anders and certain friends from the industry, from Asmodee, cheer me up, because I felt terrible. I was like, well, 20 years I've been selling games for other people. I come now with my creation and nobody wants it, you know. And my good friend Jose from Asmodee Iberia, we were on the French party that day. I was absolutely down, because I was like, I've got my money invested here. Am I that bad? And he said, look, you know, the industry has changed, and you just realize, you know, the mergers, the big companies, that, you know, it's just, we can't sometimes buy stuff. Your game is excellent. Go and publish it yourself. So back in the office, we had that conversation on, all right, you know, we should Kickstarter it. Because is already done. So we went with the security of we can produce these, because the Chinese are just waiting for the button to push. You know?
And we pretty much said also, if there is not any really compelling reasons to at least not try it on Kickstarter, we should try the games on Kickstarter. And just see how it goes and get the publicity you get from there anyway, and all the feedback you get from. That's just given anyhow anyway, so you don't really have that much to lose in launching something, even if it doesn't work, because it might not be suited for Kickstarter at that time. You maybe haven't done all the marketing you needed to do and the build up and so on. You still get a lot of good lessons from that process when you do a Kickstarter.
That, and you generate yourself an audience.
Because that's correct.
Going directly to Essen, very old school. You have X number of thousand people churning through that show, and you are trying to make as much noise as, say, one of the big stands. And you're maybe a guy with maybe like 1-2 tables with a couple of prototypes. Whereas on Kickstarter, you have an equal voice with everybody else, which is what I've noticed within the industry. Because Kickstarter has evolved. Whenever it was initially launched, it was, okay, Grandad's down in the back garden shed, he's working on a crazy idea, and now he can show it and have an equal voice with someone like, say, Hasbro. You know, he's getting as much publicity out of that. And then it's got those social engines built in there with the comments sections, the ability to share on Facebook. What the industry these days does for actually getting news for games out there, it is that viral thing, because it's, I see this, I like this, I share this. My friend sees this, he likes this, he shares this. And so 2 becomes 4, becomes 8, becomes 16, so on and so on. So I think going down the Kickstarter route for you guys being a new company is fabulous. We've actually had discussions quite recently on the Weekender where we actually discuss, has Kickstarter made games better? And I would say yes, but it's because it allows so many more ideas and new styles of games to be brought out there. So I'm very excited to see what you guys come up with in the future, because I've seen Flicky Spaceships, I've loved it. I've seen Maramarsh, I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I love it because it's a really nice self-contained adventure. And then, okay, let's talk mechanics as well, because you can have a beautiful game, but you have to build an engine to represent the world. So how did you guys actually go about finding your rules designers? Because I know there's a couple of guys you specifically use.
We went and asked. When we were designing Room 17, Graham and I went to the UK Games Expo 2 years ago. I think it is now, or maybe 3. I can't remember. And we met with Reese, and he showed us the prototype there, and we were absolutely amazed with that, and said, yeah, we'll do that. I mean, we are not looking for names. We are not looking for particular things. We were looking at that moment. We were looking for great games, and giving the opportunity to Nobel authors that never published before. At that same time, we met Matt and Sam, and luckily now we're working with other names in the industry. I had the privilege to work with Andy Chambers in Blood Red Skies, and that was a delight.
No, trust me, I love spending time with Andy. He's a great guy.
He's one of the person that has encouraged me more with his feedback, with his input, with his recommendations, with his emails of encouragement, and that was great. So we basically said, yeah, we're looking for rules. If you have, we are gamers. We all have the best game in our minds. And we opened the doors to give that opportunity to those games. So what we did is, if I don't remember wrong, because who are we to assess if a game is good or not? We're only a bunch of guys that likes games.
But that's what is the most telling thing in the industry is everybody at the top of the chain pretty much is someone who loves games. So if they find it fun, chances are other people are going to find it fun, which is really good.
We run an assessment day in the Dice Cup in a board game cafe in Nottingham, which about 150 games sessions going on. There was like, I would say 40 people more or less, 30-40 people, and we invite people to come there for free. We pay for the space and the table and everything, and we brought in the prototypes. We brought in other games that people ask us to publish for them, and we just opened them there and had people playing with a feedback form, because we wanted to know what would they think of. Funnily enough, Myanmar was in a very, very original inception there. It was only cardboard and pieces, and it had the highest rating.
Really?
Absolutely. And it wasn't even there to be played. We were showing the pictures and and the first prototypes of the minis, and we obviously had a very, very rough mock-up of the box in a table. People were sitting and they were rating it very high. So we appreciate what people tell us. We are, and I think we're just genuine. You know, we open the doors, we tell what we're doing, we tell where everything is, and the thing that came out of Museum Rush Kickstarter was a fabulous, incredible experience that has encouraged us to actually go Kickstarter more. The community, the little tiny weeny little community that we are building around the Museum Rush and now Myanmar, it's just incredible. So it's not a rough ride. It's not a terrible sleepless nights. But I think the key is that what you see on us and in the game is absolutely what it is. There's no, where is my stuff? Your stuff is there. What are you doing? We're doing that. So, and I think the right for the Kickstarter backers is, as long as you're genuine, I'm here for the fun. I'm here for the adventure of the Kickstarter. So just tell me the things.
Well, I mean, like I've seen through the years, there have been some Kickstarters that went awry. And the biggest mistake that I've seen any company make on Kickstarter is communication. So if there's, say about 4 months from delivery, you discover everything's going to be late. The factory in China has been delayed by about 2 months. I have seen some companies that have actually waited 2 months before they actually mention that. And it's just like, okay, so we knew about this 2 months ago, but we didn't tell you now. So the game you're expecting in 2 months is actually coming in 4 months. Sorry about that, guys. Whereas I've seen other companies that do it really well. As soon as they hear something, anything updated, they're right in there. They're right in there engaging with people. And again, engaging with those Kickstarter backers, giving them the sense that I'm helping create this, I'm bringing this to life, is one of those things that it gives them a sense of ownership of the game.
But they do. It's not a sense. They do own the game. I mean, we are the guys that come with an idea and execute it, and hopefully execute it right. But that game would not exist and would not continue existing if it wasn't for them. So if it's not for a Kickstarter, that game would not exist. And the Kickstarter is those guys. So they do own. It's not like they have the sense. They do own and have the right to know everything across, along the journey.
We have that as an example of things. For example, for Museum Rush, we didn't exactly know how long we put in as load all the time when you run a Kickstarter. And you get the expansion stuff that comes in during the Kickstarter and so on, and you try to listen what people want to see. So you tend to add stuff and so on, and not that all of that will be. That's not prepared advanced. All of it. Some of the ones you will run is things that you have prepared. And some of it will be new because it's great ideas from the backers. So it will be really cool to do it. But it will take longer time. So you go to factory, here is the files for this. How long will it take to break a mold to do that and produce that and so on? Oh yeah, that's 2 months. Oh, we have said that, okay, it will be delivered in 3 months. What we did with Museum for us was to make sure that we got the main game, and to say the game of Museum Rush, in everybody's hand, and started shipping out that in the very end of March, because we had said March for the game. So we managed to do that and get that out to the backers. But the expansion stuff takes longer time to get out. It's all done, but you have to prepare all the shipping and so on, and package everything right. It's 27 different ways people have ordered Museum Rush, the expansions. And so
on. A learning curve.
Exactly. And we want to see that everything is packed right, so that guy in Canada gets his stuff right, and that guy in Hong Kong gets his exactly what he wants, and so on. And in that phase also comes the shipping and shipping rising every year and so on, and we taking a split shipping now. So you have all those facets of Kickstarter is under it. And you have to try, and sometimes you can communicate that direct, that this will happen, so on. And sometimes you don't know until it comes up. We think we can ship here and there, but it will be tight with that, or will it land there, and so on.
Well, there's a question then. Do you guys in general plan for like a two-way of shipping? No, because I mean, like I've seen.
You should always try to avoid it if you can.
Really,
but yeah, because it will cost you a lot more, basically.
We spend sort of the money we thought we would spend in shipping the first wave, the museum rush.
Yeah.
But it was a conscious decision to make less money, a lot less money. But the museum rush was all about learning and making sure that the backers that trust in us without knowing us at all would at least have their game in their hands.
Yeah, because you're vaporware until you actually put a physical copy in people's hands of something you actually made. Because before that, who are you really? You haven't delivered anything. You haven't not given out a physical game. So you need to show that.
It was a conscious decision, as well as the conscious decision of Maya Marsh not being 2 waves. Because, well, we want to make some money. Because
you want to be able to move on to the next project. That's capital to invest in the next one.
Absolutely. That's the idea is that we are a company. We are a bunch of people employed by the company, which is owned by us. And we need to survive. We need to make money. We need to make good, and that is about calculation, timings, and dependence on being right to that community. You know, we've got people in the campaign now sort of asking for the retail version. If do I back now or in the stores? And we say, look, we don't know what's going to happen with Myanmar because stores will make their own decisions, publishers will make their own decisions. What we know is what's happening right there because that is our decision, you backers and us. We are going to make this game. If you want to buy it now, that is real. Would this game make it to a store? I hope it would be my wildest dreams to make thousands and thousands in different languages and is perdurable and is in every store. But that I don't know. I can only offer it to a publisher or to whoever.
The only guarantee you have is if you put this money in now. And make you get a copy and make the Kickstarter successful. That's what we know. The rest is we will see.
I just wanted to one of the things that when you said about communication, my very good friend Marcus Plutz from the owner of Ulysses, that is a splendid human being. On top of being a great businessman and experienced businessman in the industry, is a great human being, and. Once he told me that there is no such a thing as bad news in business. That, anybody can take bad news. Because those are not bad news; they're just news, and you have to work with them. The only bad news in business is not having news. So it's okay to say, we've got this thing and it's going to be delayed 4 months. And then you might be Marty or you might be reactive or whatever, but the reality is that, and if it's the truth, which is what we are going to always say, well, what can I do? When you don't know,
is we have an issue, we're working through.
That's it, and this is the best thing you can get is the feedback from that person. Oh, have you thought about? Oh, that was a good one. How can I make sure that you are happy with this, considering that there is going to be a 4 months delay? Or maybe this is a good compensation. Maybe have you thought for the next one that company is better for this and that? And the best thing you can get is more information for the future to become better. Now, if you're in the shade, and I'm not telling you what's happening. I'm lying to you. There's no way around. I'm lying to you because I've got information that impacts you that I'm not sharing. Well, we are what we show. And I'm very proud of it. It's not going to change. That's not going to change.
At the minute I've got, say, I think 3 Kickstarters I'm waiting on. And every once in a while, I'm checking my emails just to see what updates are rolling in from them. Some companies leave quite a span between, but I always trust that the company in that span between, they're not just sitting with, both thumbs up their butt, walking on their elbows. They're working to get the product out.
There's a lot of work in behind the scenes. So,
well, it's something I never realized is how many people have their hands on my game before it actually gets into my hands. Because if you think someone has to make the box, okay, once the box is made, they have to get the print onto it. You then have to get someone to make the cast for inside it to hold all your components. That then has to be put in. Someone has to make each individual miniature. That then has to go in. All the cards have to be sorted, packed, cut, whatever, put in the box. Then it all has to be wrapped up, all put onto pallets, all put into a ship, comes off the ship, gets unpacked, gets put into my little box, gets put into the post, the postman takes it, next postman brings it out to me, and then it's in my hands. It's crazy. I mean, like, it's a misconception a lot of backers and people in the industry in general have, is the scale of some of the companies that they deal with. You know, they the only thing they see is this final gorgeous, beautiful product, and it looks fantastic. You know, it looks as good as anything like something Hasbro would put out. So I've mentioned them a couple of times. They don't realize that it's maybe a very small core group of people who are making that happen. You know,
but that's absolutely great, because I think for me the adventure of Kickstarter is the backer's adventure.
Yes.
And for us to be there, perceiving, listening, reacting, communicating, and continue working. Once the Kickstarter is finished, is when this company's adventure starts, which is files finished, everything proved, sent back, checked. Back from trays is one of my things. I love thinking about how things fit in a back from tray. Well, you might have 1 or 2 trips back and forth from China. Well, is this the one? No, really, because he's bendy, he's this and the other. That is what a company, any company and in any size, must adventure into and do it right. For me, production is the thing I like. You know, I chip in rules because everybody has. And I don't draw, I don't do any art, I don't do any of those things. I can have a vision and imagine what about this rule and the other. My job is to make sure that everything matches and works nicely. And I'm obsessed with that. You know, so I think the products we make are in very good hands, from listening to backers, having the first idea and joining with great authors that might not have an enormous name yet. You know, maybe we will make an enormous name for them, and then landing in a bunch of backers and a great community that would enjoy it and would have fun during the campaign and talk about pointy sticks and cauldrons. And then once that's finished, those guys will move on onto the next campaign and support other companies, other games. And then it's our adventure. It's actually the thrill of, all right, now we have these, let's make it happen. You know.
Okay. Final question, and it's an interesting one. One thing we've seen in the industry a lot these days is that a lot of companies are sort of sniping out IPs from like the big names. So we've seen a lot of huge IPs come into the industry. Have you guys ever considered doing that, or do you like just creating your own world?
We'll be lying if we one of the things that would make us survive is people. And there's two ways you can gather people: by being there for many years, you know, or by representing an IP that has been there many years. So it seems like an easy win, an obvious option to put some money for a license that would take you to the step that then you can start working confidently. It
gives your backer that instant emotional engagement with it if it's an IP that's been there for a long time.
But we're too small. We're way too small. And I think this last 2-3 days we've been thinking about how hard work and a great idea takes time. Let's focus on that. And if we land an IP, or we find an IP that we like, well, we'll pursue that. And when we have to ask for it, we'll have a portfolio to say, we can take care of your license because we've got these things. It's
a good idea.
My take on it is that IPs are great and so on, and you do that, but you also end up in the situation where you have to fit every fan's idea on what that IP should be. And I don't know. I feel that it's one part a blessing, one time a curse with IPs and how they fall out. And let's face it, we've seen loads of IP projects in board games not doing well at all. While I'm more inspired by we've seen Isaac Childers' Gloomhaven, we see that Ampu's Kingdom of Death. We see Mythic Battles, Joan of Arc. All of these games I've kickstarted myself and love. They are all original. That's creativity from these guys making up their own worlds and creating their own IPs and their own luck, and not just following suit on what everybody else is creating. And that for me is much more exciting than any Star Wars IP or any Marvel or all that stuff. Is create something new, bring something new and exciting to the table and put it out there. So that's my personal take on that.
Well, I'll say, Anders, you're a brave man to take up that challenge. You know, because the biggest challenge you're going to have with creating a new IP is finding the wedge into the world. And it's, all right, say I was someone who had never wargamed before, and let's say I came to Warhammer 40k. Where do I find my wedge to actually place myself in the world? Because that's the first thing I have to do. So, I mean, like, having things like Black Library for Games Workshop, I mean, like, there were years there where I didn't play any Games Workshop games. I still read the books. You know, then having the starter kits that are in there. Now, those things are just the easy drop-off points. What I find is a shift in the industry now where people are playing more multiple systems. So you guys doing, like, board games and stuff, it's a self-contained world where people can actually have the headspace for it. So I'll play the game, play the game. I can put that game on a shelf for maybe 6-7 months. I can come back to it, and I can still pretty much remember how to play that. You know, so having that as a jump-off point and a nice self-contained thing makes the prospect a lot easier than if you're trying to do like full-blown 6x4 wargame.
Well, I think if dreaming of creating your own IP, I think at this stage is a dream. I think an IP generates itself. You know, you do one thing based on something, and that works, and people like it, and then maybe you do something completely different, and then tomorrow you do another thing that has got those characters and those environments, and people jump onto it, and I wouldn't even call it an IP. That world might not even have a name yet, but I remember that one. Oh, that's the crown of what that happened in that other game. And it comes through the years. The great thing of Kickstarter or the social media is that it acts as the cinema in a way. You know, the Star Wars wasn't an IP; it was only a film. You know, and then it was aired, and then a second Star Wars was another film, and that started generating an IP. And today Star Wars is a brand. You know, well. I think there's a natural growth that might or might not happen. You know, we are planning on we are already working with Matt and Sam on the thing.
Don't be a tease.
No, I can't, because who knows?
Too early?
Who knows where we're gonna be next month? You know, but the swamp would be there. Certain things will be there, and if people follow us and played Maya Marsh and get familiar to Maya Marsh, when that thing happens, they would recognize certain things. Would that be an IP? Nah, probably not yet. But from that second bigger game, well, then maybe that generates an IP. But only success will tell.
All right, well, Ricard, Anders, it's been an absolute pleasure. I love having chats like this on camera. Hopefully everybody out there, hopefully you've enjoyed it. Get those comments in below. What do you think of the games that the guys at Room 17 Games have made? We'll move on. We'll see you again very soon.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now, and be sure to check out beastsofwar.com for the latest gaming news and gaming Let's Plays. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.